Good evening. I'd like to call to order the September 23rd, 2019 Old Bridge Township Council meeting. Please rise for a pledge of allegiance. Please remain standing for a moment of silence and our prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As customary in this chamber, we stand for a moment of silence to remember those who are protecting our freedoms, both here and abroad, for our first responders, for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, and this evening the mayor would like to recognize someone.
Thank you, Council President. Deep regret that I must report the passing of Mr. William Mateka, father of our Billy Mateka, who works in our Parks and Recreation Department. Mr. Mateka was a U.S. Army veteran and served in the 82nd Airborne as a paratrooper. Please keep the entire Mateka family in your thoughts and prayers.
Thank you. A moment of silence, please. Our prayer, Mr. Pescitti.
Dear Lord, bless thy servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve thee in this chamber. Give us quiet minds and hearts that we may hear your voice. Help us to know when to speak, when to be silent. Give us strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right, and grant that we have a good conscience and soul at peace with thee and with one another. Amen.
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 Please be seated.
This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and notice of the meeting has been posted in public places. Next open public meeting of the council will be held on Monday, October 21st, 2019, 7:30 p.m. Mrs. Brown.
Here.
Dr. Greenberg. Present. Mr. Murphy.
Here.
Mr. Pescitti.
Present?
Mr. Rizzoli.
Here.
Mrs. Walker.
Here.
President Soha.
Here.
7 present.
Good evening, everyone. First will be approval of minutes of previous meetings, combined meeting July 15th, 2019. Do I have a motion?
Move it. Second?
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Pescitti.
Mrs. Brown.
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg. Yes. Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti.
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Soha.
Yes.
7 yes.
Combined meeting August 5th, 2019. Do I have a motion?
Move it. Second?
Moved by Mr. Murphy, second by Mr. Pescitti.
Mrs. Brown.
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg. Yes. Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti.
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Soha.
Yes.
7 yes.
Executive session, August 5th, 2019. Do I have a motion? Moved by Dr. Greenberg, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mrs. Brown.
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg. Yes. Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti.
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Soha.
Yes.
7 yes.
Bill listing, Mrs. Walker.
Bill list September 23rd, 2019. Accounts payable September 23rd, 2019. $2,964,982.62.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mrs. Brown.
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti.
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Soha.
Yes.
7 yes.
Payroll September 13th, 2019. $882,957.14.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mrs. Brown.
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti.
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
President Soha.
Yes.
7 yes.
Payroll overtime September 13th, 2019. $42,255.16.
Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Dr. Greenberg Belli. May we have a breakout, Mr. Shaw?
Thank you, Council President. As Councilwoman Walker indicated, the total overtime for this pay period was $42,255.60. There was no real uptick in any other department. For the police department, the total sworn officers' payroll was $34,779.60. When you deduct for grant in the amount of $7,390.95 and a deduct for ETO $4,040.25, the net overtime is $23,348.40, representing 505 men and women hours. The special events are beach patrol, ongoing beach patrol. There was a fatal crash, and there's one officer injured on duty.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
7 yes.
That concludes the bill list.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Public hearings and ordinances for second reading. H1, Release Reduction Performance Guarantee, Michael Stasi, Red Shore Village, Residential Block 24000, Lot 39, application number 95-06Z, with renotice by mail, no advertisement required. Good evening, gentlemen. If you could just identify yourself for the record, please.
There you go. Do that again.
Yeah.
Is it on?
Binder Samal, Assistant Township Engineer.
Good evening, Council President and council members. My name is Peter Klauser. I'm an attorney with the firm Heilbron Pape, and I represent Michael Stasi, as I have over these last few months, with regard to the request for a bond release. It is a release. It's not a reduction. We're looking to go to the maintenance bond.
Good evening.
If I may, Council, last time that we were here in August, we had discovered an issue just before the meeting with the level of the water in the pond. So we asked for more time to make the repair, or to discover what the issue is and make a repair, and we did. There was an issue with a valve, and that was repaired. But in the interim, giving another month of observation and the idea of future maintenance responsibilities, Pinder and the engineering department has asked that the applicant install an automatic switch for a replenishment well that handles the pond, so that way it make the maintenance easier. And then there was some cracks in the existing roadway that were discovered by the Department of Public Works, and we've agreed to repair those. Previously, the roadway had been approved, but over time and more was discovered, and we want to make those repairs. So I need another month. We're pretty confident that certainly the switch can be installed in a matter of days, and that I think Pinder can speak to this, but he told me before the meeting that they have a time set up next week to meet with Mike Stasi and the Public Works Department out there to review what needs to be repaired in the roadway. So if Pinder could confirm, from what I hear from my client, we're real confident that we can make those repairs, and as long as nothing else pops up in the interim, we should be ready to finalize this thing next month.
Okay,
That's correct. I'll be meeting Mr. Stasi next week with Kyle Harris, our Director of Public Works. The two issues which we'll be looking at is sealing of some cracks in the pavement and a drainage issue coming on Englishtown Road near the entrance. I believe those issues can easily be resolved within the time frame.
And we're ready to make those resolutions.
Okay, is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion. Council comments, anyone questions? Mr. Murphy?
Yes, being this is the fourth time it's coming here, and I understand what you're trying to do, I spoke to a couple people over there, and they're pretty upset. I'm not sure where Mr. Stasi stands on this. I heard he sold the other people, the other part of the land to somebody else, and I don't know what's going on. I'm going to want to know where Mr. Stasi stands in this. I don't know why his name's appearing unless he still owns something there. But they said there are other issues. And I'm going to ask the council, before the next meeting, I want full notice. I want it sent to everybody. But I'm going to ask quite a few questions about Mr. Stasi and what's going on and why it's taken so long. I have a meeting with them next week. There's other issues. There's like 4 or 5 issues, they told me.
We've only been made aware of what I shared with the council this evening. I'm unaware of any other issues. Mr. Stasi's ownership is none. The residential piece and these basins have been conveyed to the HOA, and actually that was one of the requests from Pinder, was to provide that documentation. And then the commercial piece was sold to a third party that has no involvement here.
But why is his name still on there?
Because he's still on the bond. He's the bond holder. So he needs to.
So he's still responsible?
Still responsible.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And,
Okay.
that's the bond that the bond is what's responsible.
Okay.
And he posted the bond, so he's the one.
But like they said, I spoke to some of them. They want full notice. They wanted to go to all the residents this time and everything. They want to be here when you pass it or reduce it, rather.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Let me clarify, the bond itself.
Excuse me?
is For the residential portion of the development and the boulevard, which goes up to the road, which goes up to the Englishtown Road.
Okay, and Mr. Attorney, do I have to get any vote on doing that, doing full notice, or this was enough?
Well, no, I mean, actually, that depends on whether council's going to object to that or not.
Oh, I'd like to bring that up to the council and take a vote that we have them do full notice because of the length of time.
When I sent council, I meant council for the builder, whether he's going to
Oh.
object to that or
SEO.
not.
And I'm not going to object to it.
Okay, thank you.
Then there'd be no need to vote for it if council's not going to object on behalf of the builder.
John, an advertisement as well?
Yeah, yes, everything as if it was brand new.
Okay, we just want to be
Thank you.
clear on what your concerns are. All right, anyone else on my left for a question? How about on my right? Any council member have a question? No? Tony, did you have your hand up? No?
I need a motion.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
Before we go there,
Oh,
let
I'm
me
sorry,
just,
go
if you
ahead.
wouldn't mind, Mr. Clauser, the next meeting is October 21st. Is that what you want it listed for, or do you want to
Yes.
go to the first one in November?
No, October 21st.
You're comfortable with
Yeah,
that?
We'll be ready by then.
All right.
No, unless something else comes up. The things that are in front of us that we are aware
Well,
we know
yeah.
we can accomplish by that date.
Understood. All right.
Famous last words.
right.
Well, anybody else have any questions? No? Okay, we have to make sure our residents are represented. Thank you, John. Okay, so we need a motion?
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Biscotti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohar?
Yes,
7 yes.
thank you,
Thank you.
gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Thank you, council.
Thank you,
good evening.
council. Thank you, Pinder.
Thank you, Pinder.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is H2, Release Reduction Performance Guarantee, GSM Recycling Incorporated, application number 3-16Z, Block 1051, Lot 29.13. Good evening. Good. If you could state your name for the record, please.
My name is Anthony Blanc. I'm the general manager for GSM Recycling and New Jersey Scrap Processors.
That was Anthony Block?
Blanca.
Blanca.
Yeah, Bellanca.
If you could speak a little louder into the microphone.
Okay.
Move the mic closer to you, sir.
Closer, green light's on, correct?
Yes, it's on.
All right, very good.
Council, shall I start on this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The property is located on Industrial Drive and consists of commercial warehouse buildings and some associated parking areas. Presently, we are holding performance guarantee in the amount of $50,371.20 for the performance bond and $5,596.80 for the cash. Both are in cash, in fact. There have been no previous reductions of this performance guarantee, and we have not received any complaints. I'm recommending that the performance guarantee be released, subject to the payment of all outstanding escrow fees, if any,
Okay.
and submission of a letter of compliance for the freehold, soil conservation service. There's no maintenance bond required for this, as per the latest MLUL laws. There's no requirement for this maintenance bond.
I would like to open it up to the public, if there's anyone in the public who wishes to be heard on this. Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion and go to council. Anyone on my left for a question? And anyone on my right? Seeing no hands, I will ask for a motion.
Move it.
Second?
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Pasquini.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohar?
Yes.
7 yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Pinder. Okay. Next is preliminary public comments to council, subject to the following conditions and restrictions. During the preliminary public portion of the meeting, any person may address the Township Council on any subject matters for a maximum period of 5 minutes. Any such person desiring to speak during the preliminary public portion shall first sign a list maintained by the Township Clerk for such purpose. Comments during the preliminary public comment portion of the meeting shall not encompass second reading ordinances or any other matter for which comment or a public hearing is to occur at the meeting.
Nora Schmidt?
Hello, Council. Thank you. My name is Nora Schmitz. I'm here on behalf of the Alumni Path Foundation. And just to let you know, we will be starting our flamingo flocking again in October. It's going to run from October 13th to November 13th. I'm notifying the town council and the township when we're running this. The pink flamingos land on people's lawns for 24 hours. We pick them up, we move them to the next location, we move them to the next location. It is a volunteer thing. It is done by people who want to flock their friends. It's a prank. It is a joy that somebody is thinking about you. It lasts for 24 hours, and we just move around the township. I'm notifying you in advance so that if there's any questions or comments, please reach out to us. It's the Alumni Path Foundation. We are a 501c3. All proceeds from anything we do goes back to the student programs for athletic and performing arts. My phone number will be available tomorrow morning, 732-599-9559. You can email the Alumni Path Foundation at gmail.com, or you can look us up on Google for the Alumni Path Foundation Flamingos. We have a website. You can order online. You can do a mail-in. You can contact us, and we can email you the information any way you want to do it. It lasts for about 30 days, and it's quick. It's easy. We're out. We grab our things, and we're gone. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know. Again, it's the Alumni Path Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. I had the pleasure of being the station there where they staged everything one year for the flamingos. My neighbors opened the doors, and how many flamingos were on my lawn?
240 flamingos were on your
Kinda
front
thought
lawn, and we grabbed
some of the
them
new
all and-
neighbors thought I was a little, maybe out there, but it was a lot. It really was a lot of fun. It's a nice thing. Do you have flyers we could have?
I do, yes,
Great.
I
Oh,
do.
perfect.
So
All
I can
right.
leave them in the back for you, I can leave them up here, either way, it's
You
fine.
can give them to
Thank
the-
you so much.
to,
That's such a really wonderful, the Alumni Path is terrific. Thank you so much, Nora.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay. And we will close the public portion. I will start now with council member comments on my left. Anyone for council member comments? No? Okay. Mrs. Brown? No? Okay. On my right, Mrs. Walker?
Yes, I had several complaints about Central Park, about some paving issues and possible drainage issues, and our Our Public Works Director has been out there, and he's been riding around. And I'd like people to either call Public Works or email them or myself with specific locations so that we could really address the problem. I just want the people of Central Park to be aware that this year on the paving resurfacing program, Athens Avenue from number 85 to Homer Road will be paved. Also, Washington Avenue from 25 Euclid to 2 Euclid will be paved. And most importantly, please contact us, because we'll take care of it immediately, any problems that you're having there, because if we don't know about it, we can't take care of it. Also, I just want to talk about if anyone went to Old Bridge Day Saturday. It was a wonderful day. They had rearranged the way the tables were set up, and I think it was one of the best Old Bridge Days ever, and I just want to thank Matt McCuro for a great job.
Matt, you did a great job.
If no one come, you should try to come next year. It was a spectacular. Thank you, Matt.
Council comments on my right? Okay. Okay. Dr. Greenberg?
Who?
No, that's okay.
No, I think she's calling you.
Yeah, and then I will
Okay.
acknowledge everyone.
I
Anyone who wants
had a lot of phone calls starting from the 15th on, and what preempted this was a letter that the residents got in the mail, it was from the office of the county clerk, and they got a letter stating, and I'll read the first paragraph to you, and they were upset because it came after the fact, and it brought on a lot of confusion. So the letter states, for those who don't get the vote by mail or never voted by vote by mail, I want everyone to understand about this situation because it's very important. Every vote is very important. Your right to vote is very important, and we'd like to keep it that way. So it started out, Dear Voter, a recent amendment to the vote by mail law requires that your voting status be changed to vote by mail for all future elections if you had requested a vote by mail in any of the 2016 to 2018 election cycles. Beginning with this year's general election taking place on November 5th, 2019, you will receive a vote by mail ballot for all elections. If you do not wish to receive a vote by mail ballot for the 2019 general election and all future elections, kindly complete the vote by mail removal request found on our website and return it to my office, or otherwise notify me in writing if you do not wish to receive the vote by mail ballots by Friday, September 13th. I'll repeat that address, that date, Friday, September 13th, 2019. The residents didn't get this letter till the 14th or the 15th. It's unconscionable. It's ridiculous, the waste of money that was sent out, and then individuals are confused all over what to do to vote. They called the office, they said, oh, it's too late, you can't change it. Then we were told, personally, some people, you could do it till the 20th. They called back then, it was too late. You can't reach out to all these individuals who wanted to vote, do not vote by mail. Then they were told to do a vote by provincial ballot. Well, when you do that, that ballot really isn't counted all the time. It's only if it's a close election. So it's very unfortunate that this happens. And truthfully, when you look at this, when you think of the last election cycle, the burden it puts on the county clerk's office to allow this to go on, 45,000 vote-by-mail votes to be counted. It's 45. It's ridiculous. No, I'm not just talking about this town. I'm talking about the whole county. And when you think of vote by mail, you used to be vote by mail was for the military. People were hospitalized, handicapped, couldn't get to the polls, students away at college. Now everyone can do it. And this just adds another layer and a gray area. And I hate to say shenanigans. You know, there's something wrong. If you can't take 10 minutes of your day, if you're able, I understand when people commute and they can't get here if they're still at work, but I think it's very important that every person does take their vote very seriously and goes out and votes. So now we have a whole slew of residents that reach out to me that are confused. that they have to vote by mail, they can't go to the polls, they want to get off this list, it's too late. It inundated the system, and it inundated also the municipal clerks throughout the whole county. And, you know, they were left with the decision what to do. Yes, they tried their best. They put it out on the websites. They put it on every venue that they could think of to get the message out. But really, there are a lot of people who wanted to come to the polls and now have to do vote by mail. And it's very unfortunate that money was spent to mail this out, and it came after the deadline, which was Friday, September 13th. People were getting it the 15th. It's wrong. Thank you. I just wanted to mention that.
Dr. Greenberg, where did that letter originate from?
This letter originated from Middlesex County Clerk's office, and the signature on here is the county clerk, Lane Flynn. And that's where it came from. So
Thank you.
Like I said, it just adds a lot of confusion at election time when we know it's very difficult at this time to begin with. Thank you.
Anyone else on my right? Mr. Rizzoli?
Yeah, I just want to say a few things about that. I think, I'm going to get right to the point, I think it invites voter fraud. I think it's unfair to all candidates involved in the election. I have never voted by mail, and I received a letter. I just think it's adding too much burden, not only on the clerks, but on the candidates, because now the candidates are going to have to really do their due diligence and make sure there is no shenanigans, like the councilwoman said. So, you know, I just think, you know, there needs to be another process of voter ID, which I know people object to, but, you know, you need forms of ID to purchase cold medicine these days, all kinds of IDs. So I think that is something that's more realistic than the amount of letters that are going out confusing our voters. It's not fair to our residents. And I just wanted to say I support the councilwoman on that. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else on my right?
I just wanted to add something. I know firsthand about voter fraud with absentee ballots. I was involved in an election in 2006 when there were about 100 absentee ballots, and about 50 of them were fraudulent, signed, filled out by a lot of them by the same person. I ended up going to trial, and we prevailed. But it is a gray area, these absentee ballots. I really would prefer people, they could use it if they are sick or things like that, but I don't think it should just be used for every resident.
Okay, Mr. Pescitti?
Yeah, I want to chime in as well. Our county government is being mismanaged. You know, we have, you know, folks in there that have been in there a long time, and it's time for them to go. I mean, people have to get out and vote and understand that, you know, voting has consequences. And we keep voting the same people in, you know, we're doing ourselves harm. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Brown, you did have okay.
Yeah, a completely different concern, actually. So we were just talking about Central Park. So I'm just curious why I wasn't given notice of what streets were going to be paved soon.
You were given notice. We were all emailed that a few months ago.
No, well, recently I had it, well, I'm talking to Hamacho, actually. So recently, I was asking about what was going to be done with sinkholes and such, so just curious if you have any information about that as well, because I've been getting calls, emails as well, and it's my ward, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you requested information. Did you contact the engineering
Well,
department?
Well, no, I had sent an email, so I was just curious, because there's a sinkhole.
Who did you send an email? Engineering?
Kyle, yeah.
Oh, Kyle.
But, I mean, Kyle is very responsive. I'm not, like, putting Kyle under the bus.
Somewhere it's disconnect, but generally, you know, all the department and we all respond to any council inquiries. But the list has been out, provided to the council. When, I think multiple times when we did the bond ordinance, this list was included in that. All the streets are provided to the council, and subsequently, when we go out for the bid, it's an award that includes all the list, what we're working on. So somewhere, the emails are missed or disconnect, but certainly we will provide you if any other information you need.
Yeah, there was an email I sent out. I believe it was about 2 weeks ago. I can actually look it up because I have it right here, but it was in reference to some of the sinkholes, not just paving, but I sent it to you as well, because I always copy you.
Copied me?
Yeah. So
somehow I
okay, that's fine.
I don't recollect, but certainly we'll go back and look at it and make
Yeah,
sure we get it.
I'm bringing it up though, just because I'm also keenly aware of the fact that residents there are complaining. But I was going to talk to you offline about it in more detail, so if we can do that. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, I kind of want to piggyback on the four down there that just spoke. I had the same problem, but it was a little different. I had someone call me up on the 14th and tell me they had a letter that they had to respond to this letter that they sent them if they wanted to vote by mail. And if they didn't, they were told, because they called right up and said, I got it a day late, and they were told, well, listen, and you can't vote, which sounded very strange. So I said, well, call them. So they called them on the next day, the Monday, the 15th, or the 16th, whatever it was, and they told them no, because you had to do it by absentee, because you voted by absentee once in your life. Now, they were not told about a provisional ballot at that time. And they were not told they could vote. They were told in this election they wouldn't be able to vote. I guess it was after that, maybe on the 17th, they decided to let it go to the 20th. Now, the letter that went out from the county, it started out like a baby could read it, and then it was more confusing than the stuff I say up here. I mean, it was ridiculous. I'm reading it, and I'm saying, what does this mean? What is it? And it says, can somebody else fill this out for me? Yes, you can sit down with them, they can fill it out. And I'm reading all this, and now I don't know if it didn't mention provisional ballots. So I called the person up, and I said, look, I don't know, I'll find out. Well, I found out right after that on the thing that they had sent you, by law, you have to put down, if you want to opt out and vote in person, you have to fill out this opt-out thing. Well, whoever sent them out told us they forgot to put that on there. So in a way, it's illegal. Is that right? The opt-out? They forgot to put it on there? It was on there they could opt out in the first letter? Okay, I was told that they left it off. But then they only give them till the 20th. And I called the office today. I called East Brunswick, then I called New Brunswick, and they were both pretty similar. They said that what you can do is you can fill out a provisional ballot. And I kind of said, well, look, I'm not too familiar with that myself. They said, well, if you come there, there's going to be something in the book that you had voted last time. You can't vote there. You're going to have to fill out a provisional ballot at the time. But she said they probably didn't get that in time and notice. Because they said they had till 20. They only gave them like 2 or 3 days after they found out they made the mistake. So that's how it was left. Now, I feel that, I agree with Anita. This was for servicemen and stuff like that. This wasn't to make everybody go vote in person. But once you take it out of the hands of the polls and stuff, any crazy shenanigans can go on. And that's my concern. I'm afraid of that people are going to just sit down with the people and fill out all these forms and stuff with each one, and it's going to be a problem. So I don't see why, I don't want to get involved in changing the way they do it, but she did it in 3 days. She gave them 3 more days to now do that. I said, well, how are we supposed to know that? She said, you should have went on the internet and read it. And I said, well, why would I go on the internet after I was told for this person not to vote? She said, well, you should always check the internet to see if you have anything like that, which is kind of crazy to me. So I just feel that what they have to do is, I think they have to somehow this year, because it's the first year, take that thing out of the book and let the people vote at the polls. I mean, this is almost taking away your right. And, I don't know what else to say about that, but it just seems like our rights are disappearing more and more every day. And that's all I really want to say. It just seems that this was a big change to take so lightly. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. All right, I will just close the council comments. I also attended Old Bridge Day, and it was a wonderful day. The volunteers that were there and the staff that was there, Matt, excellent job. We really had a wonderful day. And then on Sunday, I had the pleasure of attending, the library building has now formally been named for former Mayor Arthur Haney, and it was an absolutely beautiful beautiful ceremony. His family was so pleased and so proud, and I think it's a memory that, they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives, and it was a great day. As far as the voting is concerned, I think you can hear the common thread. We all are very concerned because we want to make sure that every resident has the ability to vote and knows that what the procedure is with this absentee ballot now that the deadline has passed. And it's just my fear also that there's going to be people coming to the polls that are going to be told they can't vote at the machine. They'll do this provisional ballot. But at the end of the day, we really are, losing a lot of ground here. And we heard from people all in this town. I can't even imagine in the county and beyond in the state. So please, anyone you know that has an absentee ballot, it's a formal ballot, not a request, the ballot. They have to know how they have to proceed with that, because otherwise we're really concerned that there's going to be a lot of problems with the voting this time. And if they have any questions, they can call the clerk's office. She will be able to clarify and give information. Correct, Stella?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Call us, come in, whatever you need to do.
Thank you very much. Report of the Township Clerk.
Yes. Okay. Just a reminder for all the residents who have dogs and cats who need a rabies vaccination. Our free rabies clinic will be held on Saturday, October 19th at the Public Works Garage on Route 516, 9 to 11 a.m. approximately for dogs, 11 to 12 approximately is for the cats. This is a free clinic. You don't have to bring anything with you, but if you have the little yellow card that was given out, if you want to bring that, it makes it easier for us to take down the information before you go up to see the vet for the shot. But if you don't have the card, that's okay. It's not a problem. If there is anyone that you know that does not live in Old Bridge, but their pet does not have a rabies shot, it is open to them as well. Keep in mind that there were 8 positive cases of rabies in the state. 1 was in Old Bridge. It was a raccoon. So rabies does still exist. Protect your pets and protect yourself. 2, on Tuesday, October 15th, 2019, it's the last day for you to register to vote. That's October 15th, 2019, the last day to register to vote for the election in November. You can pick up the vote to register form in the clerk's office. It is a prepaid form, so you can fill it out and place it in the mail by yourself, or you can gladly give it back to us. We record it and we place it in the mail, so we have your name that you did come in and drop it off. Okay, and then we send it back to the county. And the next announcement pertains to Ward 3, District 6 and 7. As you already know, the Cheesequake School has been closed. The school was a voting place for many years for some of our residents of Ward 3. However, I tried to find a voting place in the same vicinity for your convenience, and we were successful. Your new voting place will be at the Cheesequake Firehouse right next to the Cheesequake School. Letters were sent out to you on Friday with this information. Most of you probably have gotten them already, but if you didn't, they were sent out and they are coming. If you have any questions or concern regarding your new polling place, give us a call or stop in to see us. As I said, the voting place is right next door to the Cheesequake School, and there's ample parking, and it's a much bigger area also for you to vote. And that's it for now.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the clerk's report. Yes, oh, sure, John.
When did you say the vaccinations were?
October.
October 19th.
At what time?
9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for the dogs, and 11 a.m. to 12 noon for the cats.
Okay, so we had a motion by Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Belli, and a second by Mr. Rizzoli, okay.
Okay, Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohar?
Yes,
7 yes. Thank you.
thank you, Stella. Report of the Township Attorney?
None at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Administrative report, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you, Council President. So this is administrative report for September 23rd, 2019. Item number 1, 9/11 ceremony. The annual 9/11 memorial service was held at the 9/11 Memorial Site at the municipal complex. The ceremony was presided over by Mayor Owen Henry and attended by New Jersey First Lady Tammy Murphy, State Senator Samuel Thompson, and the Township Council members. The Old Bridge High School Chamber Ensemble and Women's Recital Choir performed, and presentation of colors was performed by the Old Bridge High School Air Force Junior ROTC. Local clergy and students also participated in the ceremony, which paid tribute to the 15 Old Bridge residents and all those whose lives were lost on a 9/11. Item number 2, Old Bridge Day. The 24th Annual Old Bridge Day was held on Saturday, September 21st in the municipal complex. The pre-event was attended by over 1,500 people and featured live music, vendors, games, and food trucks. The Township Parks and Recreation, Police, Fire, and Public Works Department, along with Municipal Utility Authority, also displayed their vehicle and large construction equipment. Item number 3, Library Dedication Ceremony. On September 22nd, 2019, the Old Bridge Public Library held a dedication ceremony in honor of former Old Bridge Mayor Arthur M. Haney. The event was well attended by the Township Council and the Library Board members, as well as members of Haney family and the public. Mayor Owen Henry presided over the ceremony, acknowledged how the late Mr. Haney was instrumental in the creation of the library building 26 years ago. Item number 4, 2018 tax sale. The municipal tax sale was held on September 18, 2019, with the following result. 263 third-party liens were sold, all with a premium, and 4 liens were struck up to the township. A total of $1,580,900 was collected for premium, and $446,135.64 was collected for taxes, interest, penalty, property cleanup charges, and OBMUA water and sewer charges. A separate copy that prepared by our tax collector is provided you tonight also. I think the important thing in this one is to recognize that, Old Bridge properties are considered very valuable. If you look at the amount of lien was outstanding versus the amount of premium that investor has paid, committed over, it's almost 3 times. And that shows that there is, Old Bridge properties are very valuable. Item number 5, Coastal Cleanup Day. On Saturday, September 21st, 2019, Mayor Henry's clean team picked up litter at Cliffwood Beach waterfront, the Lawrence Harbor waterfront, and Paul's Beach for International Coastal Cleanup Day. Volunteers from Carl Sandburg Middle School, St. Thomas Church, Southwood Elementary School, St. Ambrose, and Most Holy Redeemer gather over 100 bags of garbage and recyclable material. Those interested in a future litter cleanup should please email recycling@oldbridge.com. Item number 6, Breakfast with Mayor. The Old Bridge Business Alliance will sponsor Breakfast with the Mayor on Thursday, September 26, 2019, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the office building located at 90 Matawan Road. This will be a networking opportunity for many businesses. Mayor Owen Henry will have an opportunity to get feedback from business owners, hear their concern, and determine how the township can help their business grow. The event is hosted by Arlington Group Commercial Realty. To RSVP for event or for more information on the Business Alliance, please call 732-721-5600, extension 7920, or email at obedo@oldbridge.com. Item number 7, Parks and Recreation. The Parks and Recreation Department is sponsoring Goat Yoga on Friday, September 27th at 7:30 p.m. in Guyk Park. The session costs $25 per person and is open to adult age 18 and older. Registration can be done in person at the Richard Cooper Civic Center in the Municipal Center or online at oldbridge.com/recreation. In addition, there will be a family movie screening at 8:30 p.m. in the park following the yoga program. Item number 8, Stride and Ride. The annual Stride and Ride relay occurs every October to educate individuals about importance of October 7, 2001, the day the first deployment in War on Terror. It remembers all those who lost their lives, not only on September 11, 2001, but in the subsequent years due to 9/11 related illness, service-related injuries, or invisible wound of wars. The relay spans 911 miles, starting at Logan Airport 9/11 Memorial, traveling down the East Coast, ending at Arlington Cemetery. Runners, cyclists, walkers, and motorcyclists carry the American flag with a photograph of those who have been lost. Mayor Owen Henry invites all Old Bridge residents to a special ceremony in honor of Stride and Right tactical team when they arrive at the 911 monument at the municipal complex. It will begin at 12 noon on Tuesday, October 8, 2019. All are invited to bring photographs of loved ones that they would like to have honored and included in the relay. Item number 9, paper shared event. On Friday, October 11, 2019, the township will host a special paper shredding event at 3 locations. Residents can bring their confidential document to Cheesecake Village from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., the Plaza Grand from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., and the Municipal Complex from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, please email recycling@oldbridge.com. Item number 10, voter registration. Please note that last day to register to vote is Tuesday, October 15, 2019. Forms can be obtained at the clerk's office by calling extension 2200. That concludes my report.
I make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Did any council person have a question? Yes, Mrs. Brown?
Unfortunately, I just put a lifesaver in my mouth, but I just wanted to say I think it's pretty cool that we're doing goat yoga because I love yoga, and goat yoga is extra fun with kids, so please go do it. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else for a comment? Okay, then we'll take a motion. John made a motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Paschetti. Who made it? Mr. Murphy made the motion to accept the administrative report.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Paschetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
7 yes.
Next will be our consent agenda. I will ask for a motion and a second. I'll bring it out to the public if someone wishes to comment on a consent agenda item, and then I'll bring it back to the council for separations.
Move it.
Second.
Okay. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on any of the consent agenda items? Come forward, please. Good evening. You could sit if you like, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Terry Barron, Cheesecake Village, Indiana Court. I'm looking at the first C1. Does that mean that we're going to start having provisions for electric cars in Old Bridge? Is this the start of it? What I guess I'm curious as to what this means.
Well, the new DEP, the state has provided the grant to install, and I believe we're going to be installing 2 electrical charging station at the parking lot in a municipal complex. There will be 2 charging stations for public to use, the residents of the Old Bridge to use if needed.
Okay, so we're not paying for it, the state's paying for it?
Yes, it's the grant provided by the state for installation.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Is anyone else from the public wish to be heard on any consent agenda item? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion and now ask separations on my left. Separations on my right. Yes, Mr. Paschetti.
D1.
Okay. All right, so we'll vote on the balance. It was already moved, we're good.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Paschetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
7 yes on the balance.
Okay, C1, Mr. Murphy? Mr. Peschetti, I'm sorry, Mr. Peschetti.
Thank you. My question is, the state is going to give us $5,000 to put these 2 electrical stations in. Is it going to cost the town anything? Is that the entire cost, that $5,000?
Yeah, the equipment and installation cost is $5,000.
Will the residents still have to pay for the electric?
I believe there's no charge for the electrical, right, for the use of electric? Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle, could you please address this? Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have the option of either residents would swipe their credit card and pay for a charge, or the township could absorb the cost for the charge. I did some research, and majority of the townships are providing the service for free for their residents.
All right. Does anyone else have a question?
Didn't I still have the
Okay,
floor?
I'm sorry, Mr. Peschetti, I thought you were through.
So, was there any research in finding out how much actually does it cost to provide that electric if we're going to provide it for free?
At this time, no, it's just a preliminary application to the state to take advantage of this funding. The funding was available for a short period of time. We have to, do some additional steps before we implement the charging station.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, are you through?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Walker?
Yeah, so if we do this, we can still have the residents pay. We're just agreeing to move forward. Okay.
Yes, that's an option that we can elect to choose at any time.
Anyone else have a comment on C1? No? Okay, seeing no hands, then I'll ask for a motion.
Move it.
Second.
Walker? Mrs. Walker moved it. Mr.
No, I
Murphy
moved it.
seconded.
Oh, Tony, okay, Mr. Peschetti, I'm sorry. Guys, speak up a little bit, okay?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Peschetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes, as long as we're going to determine moving forward what we're going to do as far as charging is concerned. Okay? It's just to
Seven
move
yes.
it forward, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Ordinance for first reading, FR1, amending Old Bridge Township Code to consolidate the neighborhood commercial CN zone with the Economic Development Opportunity EDO1
Move it.
plan.
Make a motion to move?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Peschetti, second by Mr. Murphy.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Peschetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
7 yes.
Public comment on any subject matter? Is there anyone who wishes to be heard? Please come forward. Good evening.
Hi, Susan Blumig, 234 Morganville Road. I have an issue I want to talk about, but I have to talk about this electric car charging. And I'm in favor of you giving out free electric charges as long as I can take my car back there and get gas. Okay?
You know.
Because if one guy gets free, then I want free too. And I don't want to have to buy an electric car to get it free.
Gotcha.
So I hope that you'll really look into this when it comes about. I don't know how much it costs to charge an electric car. I don't know how many electric cars there are in Old Bridge, but if there's one, I don't want to pay for it in my taxes. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the absentee ballot thing. I voted 2 years ago with an absentee ballot because I was ill. I didn't get an absentee ballot last year. I didn't get a notice last year that said I could opt out. This year I got the opt-out notice. So are my votes counting when I'm there? I mean, I went to the polls last year and voted, but because I had voted absentee before, what list am I on? Is there a reason for us to even go to vote anymore? I mean, who determines who wins the election? The county clerk? And she's a Democrat, so who's going to win? I think it's horrible that people are being treated like this because there's a lot of elderly people that aren't familiar with the internet. And there's a lot of other people who don't have computers. Not everybody has a computer. So I think that we should do some kind of looking into here to find out what's going on and what we can do about it, because I called up. I got the letter to opt out, and I called up and I told them I got it on September 16th. I was supposed to take care of this by September 13th. And they said, oh, well, you have till Friday. Well, where does it say that? Now you're saying some people got till the 20th. I had till the 17th. But did my vote count last year when I voted in the polls? So this has to be straightened out. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the library dedication yesterday. It was a great ceremony. I was active here in the audience since 1981. And I remember what Art Haney went through to build this library. And Democrats fought him every inch of the way, saying that this was too expensive. They labeled it the Taj Mahal. And I noticed that none of our Democratic council people were at the dedication yesterday. This library is used by our children. I was told by a Board of Ed member that the libraries in the schools aren't what they used to be because we can't afford to pay librarians. So when we sit up here and talk about let's have shared services, we have a shared service. It's the library. I saw one Board of Ed member there. I think this is unconscionable. Everybody should have been there. Everybody that's an official in this town. It has no bearing on the fact that Art Haney was a Republican. It has a bearing that he had the perseverance to fight all the crap that went on in this town when he was trying to build that library, and he went ahead. And I went through the parking lot tonight. One of the things that the Democrats said when he was trying to build this, was it was too big. We don't need this. Let's keep half of it empty. If we have to build it, and we'll fill it. There were only 9 vacant parking spaces tonight in the library parking lot. As we sat through the dedication yesterday, people were filing into the library the whole time. I don't think if you sent out a questionnaire and asked, is this library too big for Old Bridge? I don't think anybody would say at this point in time that it is. And I think it's a shame. And I have 3 words for those officials who did not attend. Shame on you.
Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to be heard? Come forward, please. Oh. Yeah, no, that's fine. No worries, everybody. Yep.
I'm too short for this.
Good evening again.
Hi, Terry Barron, 5A Indiana Court. I just wanted to say, I got one of those forms. I have never done a mail-in vote. Never in my whole life. I got one, Mary Ann got one, she's never done it. We didn't send them in. We just thought it was an option. If you wanted to vote by mail, you send it in. I can't imagine how many other people in the village did that. A couple of the elderly people gave them to me and asked me to take care of them. I mailed them, but to be honest with you, I don't know if I mailed them before the 16th or after the 16th. This is crazy.
Glad you spoke up, Terry, because, you know, we have heard from so many people, and I'm glad that the public was willing to come up and say, you know, the things that we were hearing from our residents. It's so confusing.
Well, we didn't send, even neither one of us sent it in. I'm sure a lot of people just threw them away because they want to vote at the polls. So
They were the ones. Those weren't votes, because I got them, my girlfriend got them, all my neighbors got them.
that's what I'm saying.
That was something different. That was something different, I think. Didn't you get one, Debbie?
No, I just got an application.
Well, I think that's what she's talking about. You got an application that says vote by mail, right?
Right, right.
I think everybody got one.
Everybody got them?
I think so. I don't think that's asking what they were asking. That was
See how
separately.
confusing this is?
Were there any names on it? There was none of that, right?
No, there was no, you had to fill them out.
Well, you know what? I'm assuming that. I don't know exactly what that was because I'm so confused right now.
Well, I'm confused now, too. I thought as long as you didn't fill it out, you weren't involved. I hope that's the case.
Well, I threw mine out.
Because there's a lot of people that didn't fill them out, just ignored them.
Terry, may I?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Stella.
Terry, if you received that and you never voted by mail
Never.
before.
Never in my
I
life.
received that too. Go to the poll and vote.
Okay.
All right? Okay, that was something a little different than what they were talking about up here before.
Okay, I also received something. I also didn't do anything with it because my husband and I never voted by absentee ballot.
Right.
But I was just wondering, do you people have a list of those people who received things in the mail stating that they were going to, that if they didn't file by a certain time, you were going to get it by mail?
No, those letters came directly from the county clerk, so we had no idea who was going to get them. Every township, basically.
Okay,
got
because
them.
the only thing I can think of is if we have a list, we send some type of a petition with the names down there that tell them, we are not going to vote by mail, we're going to vote at the polls.
If you never voted by mail, go and vote by the poll.
And what happens if we go to vote and they won't let us and they want us to do a provisional ballot?
If you never voted by mail, they will let you because it's not in the book that you voted by mail. If they tell you no, then you do a provisional ballot. But
Okay,
if you never
because-
mailed, there will be nothing in there that says you can't sign.
Okay, and also if you could pass on to the county clerk, someone here knows internet and me. We don't get along. And I am not the only one that doesn't get along with the internet. Anybody over 12 has a little bit more difficulty. If you've got a kindergartner, you're fine. But if your kids are in college, they don't know as much either. But thank you.
Very much. Else from the public wish to be heard? Come forward, sir, please. Good evening.
Evening. Philip McGovern, 201 Yorkshire Court in Society Hill. I work the polls, and I see the people come, and they're frustrated and angry. What do you mean a provisional ballot? Change it, get rid of it, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to be heard this evening? Come forward, please. Good evening.
Good evening. Bob Andrews, Plaza Grand and Old Bridge. Is there any way we can go to the county clerk, sue them, or do something to stop it? There should be some recourse on that.
That's what I said.
If they did it wrong, you got to change it.
No.
Maybe look into it and see if we can. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else for a public comment? Come forward, please. Good evening.
Good evening. Marianne Sweet, Pennsylvania Drive, Cheesewake Village. I was at the ceremony for the 9/11 remembrance, and I want to congratulate and thank the mayor. It was beautiful. The council was there, and I just hope these things continue through the years because they're beautiful, and I think the people of Old Bridge appreciate it. I know I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no hands, then I will close the public portion. Next will be discussion, D1, update from last meeting, 9/9/2019, on the 1019 Miller Avenue, Lawrence Harbor flooding.
Council President, if I may, the engineering department is in touch with the New Jersey Transit, the New Jersey Transit will be visiting the site and investigate the pipe that's underneath the railroad to make sure that, if there's an issue with that, and address it. The engineering department is looking into getting a professional service proposal to evaluate the drainage pipe capacity. There may be a concern on that end. This property is, while on the Miller Avenue, really the problem resides on Cook Avenue because the driveway on the property is in the back. And, our Public Works Department right now, on a regular basis, checking to see if there's any blockage. Just to keep in mind that the properties, the railroad, we can't touch the area on that. The drainage is controlled by the DEP, who has not permitted the piping approach or things, and it may not be sufficient. So we're gonna try to get an evaluation by a professional engineer to see if we can, how do we alleviate this problem?
Okay, thank you very much for the update. Is anyone from the council have any comments or questions on this? Dr. Greenberg?
No, basically, I went and visited the property and drained, just like our business administrator said. It is on Cook Avenue. Their property's on Miller across the street, and the way their driveway is pitched, I'm sure if there's flooding there, it would go down that way into their house. And I'm sure the engineering department, they've had complaints before to address it, and we hope that New Jersey Transit does, step up, for the residents in the area. It's a very pretty area. They take, the property was pristine in the area, and it's unfortunate, to have this negatively impact your property. And it's very frustrating for us on the council to hear a complaint where we want to address it, and I'm sure it's even more frustrating for the township that's been dealing with this for years, to see this happen to a resident, and they try to address it and remediate the problem. And I think New Jersey Transit does hold the responsibility, and we've been the pipeline basically of communication there. And I went there today, it was very cleaned out. And the sad part is, today you wouldn't even, while looking at it, you wouldn't think there would ever be a problem. It's a beautiful day, it's been dry. But this summer we had flash floods, that we all know, that was very unexpected. And so it's very unpredictable, the damage that can happen in that. So I just want to thank the engineering department and the business administrator and administration for looking into this for the resident. Thank you.
Anyone else for a comment or question on D1? Mr. Murphy? Oh, okay, not on the discussion item? Okay. All right, no? Okay. Thank you very much for the update. It's very appreciated. Next will be council member comments. Mr. Pescetti. Mr. Pescetti?
Yes, hi. Thank you. On the vote by mail, I voted by mail like 8 years ago. I filled out an application to vote by mail, and I've automatically been opted in to vote by mail every time. Now, I'm a poll worker, so it's convenient for me. But it makes a hardship to opt out. It should automatically opt out. It should just be, look, if I want to vote by mail, then I'll apply for vote by mail and do it. It should automatically opt out. Now we're spending all this money, sending all these letters to every resident in the county. It's got to cost a fortune. I'd like to know how much it costs. I'm going to put an open request in to find out, and I'll report next month of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Murphy, you had your hand up, and Mrs. Brown? Okay.
Mrs. Blooming, I agree with everything you said, but I think this is the first year they did it. And so your other votes probably counted, but I'm telling you, as I tried to read through the whole thing, it looks like what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it that every year they want to get more and more people. They want us not to go to the polls anymore for some reason. That's what it looks like they're trying to do. But the problem is it's going to give whatever party's in control at the time a big advantage on who wins. So I agree with you. They've got to do something to get this out of there. I mean, it's a right to vote, and if you want to go vote where you're supposed to vote, you should have that right. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, when I read this and it said, can I have somebody help me fill it out? Yes, your person who comes over to the house can fill it out for you, and then you just have to sign it. It said it in there. So, I mean, you could just sit down in the house and just fill them out, and that's how you can campaign. Just go to the house, and then send them all in. So it's so unfair. And they changed it in 4 days they could vote. We've got a month. Somehow they got to make it that everybody can go. All they got to do is get the stuff out of the voting book. Everybody can vote. But, that's up to the chairman of the county. So.
Wait, We're into public.
They did make it a law, I think,
And we're
didn't
into our comments, just the council.
Okay, did they make it a law? Is it a law?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, are you through, Mr. Murphy, or?
Yeah, is it a Jersey law, or is it a?
It was passed in the state, by the state. Okay, Mrs.,
I don't know. It is a law then.
you through, Mr. Murphy? Are you through?
I'm through.
Okay. How, Mrs. Brown?
That was very thorough. He's like, I'm through. So I feel bad that Vina left already because I was going to say, last meeting, I forgot to give her, congratulations or some type of accolades because I know how hard she's been working on the EDO zones and the planning. And I think that it will be really great for the town because we really need some help with our businesses having some more health and vitality. Also, I kind of want to just thank everybody because I feel like sometimes I get calls and emails where people don't understand the process of government and also how the township works and that things are being addressed in a certain way, but we do have priorities in terms of what needs to happen at any given point in time, because there's matters of safety that take priority over some things that are more aesthetic. That being said, obviously we care about the aesthetics and the safety aspect of the town. The other thing is I heard a comment about people needing to be ashamed of not being at this presentation yesterday. I actually find some of the challenge with people and party lines is that people make assumptions that because someone cares about humanity and people that don't look like them, that they hate all Democrats or all Republicans. So I hear a lot of sighing, but that was actually a statement made. The reality is I actually would have been at the ceremony yesterday. It probably was overlooked. I was out of the country for a little bit, and then my kids went to school. I also was in the bed yesterday because I didn't feel well. So I think it's also sad that people make assumptions that people don't show up places because of their party lines. I actually moved to neighborhoods based on the library. If anybody knows me very well, I love libraries. I could stay in the library for hours. My husband's an avid reader. He has a very high IQ, so he reads a lot of books, and he's also not the mom taking care of the two kids, so he probably reads way more books than I do. But I actually really like our library a lot. It's one of the really great things about the town. So I'm happy that it was dedicated, and sorry that I wasn't present for that, but I'm glad that it's here. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. On my right, Mrs. Walker?
Yes, I just want to clarify something for people at home that might not know. There are 9 council people, 6 are ward council people, and there are 3 at large, Mr. Cahill, Dr. Greenberg, and myself, and we represent all the wards, so people throughout the whole town can call us with their concerns.
Anyone else for a comment? Mr. Rizzoli?
Yeah, I just want to comment on 9/11 ceremony. I thought it was a wonderful ceremony, and I think that all the elected officials owe a responsibility to the families out of respect to show up to the event. It's a town-wide event. We represent everyone, regardless of what ward you are. Every elected official, if they can make it, should make it a point to be at the 9/11 event. I think we owe that to the families, and it was a beautiful event. I know we had Alex in the high school playing there, and it was a great event. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Greenberg?
Yes, I would like to just say once again to everyone who came to Old Bridge Day, I hope from the residents that came, I hope they enjoyed themselves. But really, this is really directed at the police, the fire department, Public Works, and the MUA that displayed their vehicles there. Anyone who went to that section of Old Bridge Day, you have to be very impressed with what you saw. Truly, it is amazing because when you saw the amount of the vehicles and the expertise, the ability what some of the machinery could do, it's phenomenal. And there's a cost to that. So there's some of those trucks, whether it's a fire truck, you have to understand that's why the fire budget is the way it is. The police department upgrading, the MUA, the amount of equipment and technology that is in those vehicles are incredible, and the work that they perform throughout the town really maintains the quality of this town. A lot of times you don't realize if you have a break, if you didn't have the MUA, that break would not be addressed in a timely fashion. And truly, to have the equipment right at hand and to get it done so someone's water isn't interrupted in a short amount of time. And really, when you saw all the vehicles down that row, you also realize how each department helps each other, and they work together. And I thought it was very, very impressive, and I want to thank, again, the Recs Department for putting that together. Circling back to the vote by mails, not only the complaints that we heard tonight from the residents, the confusion with it, one of the things that comes to mind all the time by vote by mail with me is that they send them out so early, and there's a reason, obviously, they have to get it back because it's labor intensive. But here you get 6 weeks before the election. So you may not even know the issues of the election or how things change. And then you're voting for someone that really something comes up later and you really may have a regret that you voted for that person. So that's one of the things that I look at when you think of, vote by mail. And this all originated really in the Senate and Assembly down in Trenton to really increase the amount of vote by mail. It's going on all over the country, really just not in this state, this county, this town. And then the last thing I would like to say is it's so nice to see that the Parks and Rec Department are always coming up with new programs. And so goat yoga is one of the new things, and it sounds funny that you think, doing yoga with goats. Goats are very soothing. I have some goats myself. I don't only just do yoga with them. They really provide a lot of enjoyment. They're like your fishbowl. They are really relaxing. They're very easy pets. They're very sweet and very tame. So if you haven't done it, you should try it or just go there and just to see it. I regret that I will not be able to go that night. I have a wedding, but it would have been a lot of fun to see it, and I hope a lot of people turn out for it. Because I know also the Parks and Rec Department puts a lot of effort in bringing these programs, to the town. So go out and enjoy, and thank you, everyone.
You through? Mr. Pescitti?
Yeah, hi. I want to mention first I agree with everything Dr. Greenberg said. Kudos to all those involved. The Old Bridge Day, Calvary Chapel and Old Bridge put on a fantastic thing for the kids. If you walk through there and you looked at the kids, you see them smiling. They were all glowing. They were just having a great time. They had all these games and face painting and a lot of stuff for just the kids. And it was a lot of fun. It really was a big success. So kudos to Calvary Chapel. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else for council comments?
Council President, if I just
Yes,
may, I'd just like to acknowledge, again, our silver linings. Today, it was too early to put in, I'm too late to put into our administrative report, but I went over with the silver linings group to the Reformed Church, and they presented the members of that facility with 51 handmade shawls today, and they also hosted an ice cream social. So it was a great event. We had about 10 people who crocheted and knitted and made these 51 shawls, and they personally gave them to the residents at the Reformed Church. So
That's
they
phenomenal.
did a great job, really great job.
Very nice.
And again, that's Anna and Matt really just coming up with really great programs.
Yes,
And the people there were very happy.
That's great. It's so nice. We really do have a wonderful community. And I just want to close, too, by saying I'd like to thank Stella Ward and her clerk's office for all the help with all this crazy confusion with these ballots. Those ladies have fielded so many phone calls and have been helpful and trying to, ease everybody's concerns, and it's not an easy thing, and I really do feel that this is definitely not the way to go with these ballots. But thank you, Stella, and your office for trying to help everyone. We really appreciate it. I'll take a motion now to adjourn. I'll move it. Second. Moved by Dr. Greenberg, second by Mrs. Walker.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Biscotti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohar?
Yes.
7 yes. Thank you.